The Galaxy S26 Ultra may handle night shots better than its predecessor, and the low light shots may not be a problem for the S26 Ultra. While we are still far out from the release of the S26 series, Samsung hasn't even launched the Galaxy S25 SE yet. But a fresh report has us thinking about the company's future flagship, notably its Ultra model. This speculation claims that Samsung could modify the Ultra's main camera. Well-known Galaxy leaker ISOCELL is saying that the Galaxy S26 Ultra will have the 200 megapixels with ISOCELL HP2 sensor it has had since the S23 Ultra. So if you were expecting for an upgrade, it appears like you may be out of luck. However, the tipster adds that Samsung could improve the sensor by adjusting the aperture. If you're not well versed in camera jargon, aperture refers to the opening that allows light into the sensor. The more light that can be let in, the less noise and more detail an image will have in low light environments. ISOCELL claims the S26 Ultra's main camera uses an f/1.4 aperture. In comparison, the main camera on the Galaxy S25 Ultra has an f/1.7 aperture. The lower f number means the S26 Ultra's main camera would have a wider aperture than the S25 Ultra, allowing more light in. How much more light will the sensor be able to take in? The rumor suggests there would be a 47% increase compared to the S25 Ultra. While we may not receive a new sensor, it sounds like the main camera will, at least, perform better in the dark. It's also rumored that the S26 Ultra can achieve 75 to 80% capacity after 30 minutes of 60-watt charging. That's something that's been abundantly clear in many different fields of the mobile industry for many years now. And it's probably the main reason why you shouldn't get too excited about the Galaxy S26 Ultra, or too disappointed with Samsung's 2026 super flagship. Yet no matter what kind of chatter you keep hearing from sources like ISOCELL, will this bad boy be one of the best photography phones in the world when it sees daylight early next year? Almost definitely. But it's impossible to know precisely how much better the S26 Ultra will be at capturing images, or anything else, compared to its predecessor based just on numbers and letters like HP2, f/1.4, or 200 megapixels. On the other hand, Samsung is also apparently preparing a radical makeover of the S26 series, swapping the base and Plus models with Edge and Pro variants. The S26 Pro will be a fascinating addition to the portfolio, but only if it delivers actual Pro-level features. Samsung cannot merely rebrand what would have been the S26 Plus with 1 to 2 extra features and slap the Pro branding. The Galaxy S26 Pro should deliver a nearly ultra-like experience, but in a more compact form factor. That means it should pack appealing advancements in all essential departments: camera, design, cooling, and charging rates. 1. Super-fast charging speeds. All rumors point to the Galaxy S26 Ultra enabling 60-watt wired fast charging. The S26 Pro should offer almost the same speeds to stay competitive. A report indicates Samsung's Pro flagship could include a 4,300 mAh capacity. If that's the case, a 45-watt charging speed would still be more than fast enough to juice up the battery to nearly full in approximately 30 minutes. However, that does not give the corporation a reason to skimp in this area. Plus, since the Galaxy S25 Plus already supports 45-watt charging, the S26 Pro needs to charge faster to justify its Pro designation. Yes, the S26 Pro's smaller size will pose heating concerns even if Samsung installs a strong cooling system. So the phone doesn't necessarily need to support 60-watt wired charging speeds like its Ultra sister. But it has to charge faster than the S25 Plus. Otherwise, it will cause a perception problem for Samsung. How can the S26 Pro be a Pro device if it gives the same experience as the S25 Plus in important areas? Hopefully, Samsung also embraces QI2 with 25-watt in the Galaxy S26 range, giving wireless charging a much-needed speed boost. Both its Pro and Ultra models sorely need this improvement. While not as fast as the competitors, the ease of built-in magnets should make up for the lack of speed. 2. An ultralight thermal management system. Samsung provides the Galaxy S25 Ultra with a vapor chamber cooling mechanism that's 40% larger than its predecessor. While the S25 Plus also uses a similar cooling technology, it is only 15% bigger than the S24 Plus. With the S26 Pro potentially featuring a smaller display, Samsung should not use that as an excuse to reduce the cooling system's size. If anything, a smaller phone means less room to dissipate heat. Thus, the manufacturer should adopt a cooling technology as robust as its Ultra versions. Yes, Samsung can't beat physics. The S26 Ultra will inevitably have the largest vapor chamber in the series. But the S26 Pro should nonetheless contain a very substantial cooling system given its size to justify the Pro label. A larger vapor chamber can go a long way in preventing throttling when the phone is under severe strain. Without it, the S26 Pro risks becoming nothing more than an S25 Plus with updated internals and a nicer moniker. 3. Anti-reflective cover glass. Barring the difference in display size, quality, and the lack of S Pen capability, the S25 Ultra and S25 Plus have the same dynamic AMOLED panel. The panel can attain a peak brightness of 2600 nits with a dynamic refresh rate of 120 Hz. Samsung can't apply the same method with the Galaxy S26 Pro and S26 Ultra. The former will require more than just a brilliant panel to live up to its Pro designation. And for that, the business should employ Corning's anti-reflective cover glass on the S26 Pro. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra and S25 Ultra are currently the only two phones in the world to arrive with such a cover glass. It helps decrease reflections by over 70%, making content easier to see on the screen, especially in broad daylight. Samsung should use the same Corning cover glass on the Galaxy S26 Pro. Besides the major quality of life enhancement, it will also help the phone stand out from its other Pro competitors. 4. Pro-grade pictures with 200 megapixels clarity and 5x zoom. The Galaxy S25 Plus includes 3 rear cameras, while the S25 Ultra sports 4 cameras. Yet, the sole common sensor between them is the 10 megapixels 3x optical shooter. Otherwise, the S25 Ultra uses a higher resolution 200 megapixels primary camera versus 50 megapixels on the S25 Plus, and a 50 megapixels ultra-wide with macro capability. Then there's also the 50 megapixels 5x shooter for long-range zoom. With the Galaxy S26 Pro, Samsung should follow the same script as Apple and Google and equip its Pro model with a comparable camera system as its Ultra sister. It likely won't provide a comparable arrangement to retain the contrast between its Pro and Ultra models. Still, the S26 Pro should have a 200 megapixels primary camera and an ultra-wide camera with macro capability. The lack of macro support on Samsung's non-Ultra flagships is odd, especially given even many mid-range Android phones contain it. Besides the high-resolution primary camera, Samsung should eliminate the 3x telephoto and bring the 5x zoom camera to the S26 Pro. That would certainly let the phone justify its Pro label. If Samsung merely boosts the primary camera to 200 megapixels and adds a higher resolution ultra-wide sensor, naming it as a Pro model would just be a simple way to charge extra for what would essentially be an S26 Plus. 6. Don't label it Pro unless it provides. I'm glad Samsung is finally taking the same approach to its flagship lineup as Apple and Google. The company's Ultra flagships are too enormous for daily use, and a compact Pro model with virtually the same features would be a wonderful alternative. However, Samsung being Samsung, rarely gets the basics right the first time. Just look at the Galaxy S25 Edge. Hopefully, that's not the case with the reported S26 Pro, and it packs the proper enhancements to live up to its Pro title. Next, the 60-watt charging will be fantastic to have, but you might need a new wall plug. Samsung could only engage this mode on 14-volt outlets, and pull about 4.3 amperes, roughly the same peak current currently drawn by the S25 Ultra. This would still require a proper cable, but 5 amperes cables are very common currently. Alternatively, Samsung might go closer to 20 volt and cut the current more. The problem in either situation is that plugs supporting these higher PPS voltage and current levels are less common, especially those fulfilling the 21 volt requirement. While today's top wall chargers can power this configuration, many older outlets, including some of Samsung's official accessories, are not fitted for it. That said, Samsung does provide a 65-watt trio converter in specific areas. The good news? Samsung will almost probably retain 45-watt charging capability, so existing plugs would still charge the new Ultra rapidly, just not at the full 60 watt. That's a decent compromise for those who don't want to buy yet another plug. So what about the rest of the Galaxy S26 series? The 60 watt for the Ultra is excellent, but our main gripes about Galaxy charging haven't been with the top-tier model. It's the subpar 25 watt capability of the smaller Galaxy S25 that's the major letdown. It takes roughly 80 minutes to fill its smaller battery and seems slow compared to the S25 Ultra's 55 minutes. Worse, Samsung's cheap Galaxy A56 5G now enables 45 watt charging, and the same is apparently coming to the Galaxy S25 FE. It's an overdue enhancement that really needs to be included in all of Samsung's flagship tier phones this year, not just the larger, more expensive models. Surely the alleged Galaxy S26 Pro will flaunt 45 watt charging. Interestingly, Samsung appears to be discarding the standard and Plus variants, changing to a Galaxy S26 Pro, 26 Edge, and S26 Ultra product line. That's a radical departure, and the Pro actually ought to charge as fast, if not faster, than Samsung's affordable products. It will be a pretty odd state of affairs if it doesn't. The Edge's compact form factor might limit it to 25 watt, but the Pro should ideally take the best of the Plus, including its charging capabilities, and compress it down into something more portable. If Samsung offers 45 watt and 60 watt universal charging for the Galaxy S26 Pro and S26 Ultra, it would be a significant win for charging ease. It would also erase one of our few lingering qualms about the series and put pressure on Apple and Google to step up from the bare minimum when it comes to charging tech. Please don't mess it up, Samsung. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, and goodbye.